A common color associated with being a senior in high school is white. This color is used for senior photos, graduation, and many seniors just know that it's the color to use. Unfortunately for me, I've always thought that the color white washes me out, just like many other seniors in high school have been through before. Why do seniors gravitate towards white? And what does wearing white even mean? And does it actually have a meaning, or is it just a trend? This fight for white has made me wonder how much power color truly has. My name is Rebecca Brower. Next slide. I'm credible for this speech because I've taken art classes and learned about color theory, I've been subject to the influence of color, and I've completed research on the influence of color for this speech. Today I'm going to share how something as simple as color can change the way a person thinks, both in consumerism and in everyday life. Next slide. First, I'll talk about how different colors can influence us. Next, I'll talk about the connection between those colors and how businesses use it in their marketing. Lastly, I will share how color can affect us in everyday environments like home and school. First, I will talk about how different colors can influence us with our emotions, moods, and decision making. According to Kendra Cherry, author of How Color Psychology Affects Moods, Feelings, and Behaviors, published April 2026, different colors can affect feelings, moods, and behaviors. It can even get to the point where it changes attention, energy levels, and your appetite. The use of color is known as color psychology. It is used by artists, interior designers, filmmakers, and more. They use color psychology in a lot of different ways. But even with different kinds of occupations using it, color still has the same universal meanings. An article by Jacob Olson called Color Meanings: Discover the Power and the Symbolism Behind Every Hue, accessed July 2026, shares common associations with colors from the rainbow. Next slide. Red is the color of passion and energy. It has a strong and powerful energy that motivates us to take action. This can range from topics like love to something like warnings and danger. Orange, filled with emotion, is considered a fun color that provides emotional strength. Orange is a positive and a youthful color. Next slide. Yellow, similarly to orange, is the color of happiness and optimism. This color is filled with joy and boosts confidence. The color green is a symbol of health. It's a relaxing color that revitalizes our body and our mind. Green makes people feel safe and even a little lucky. Blue shows loyalty, but just like green, it has a calming and a relaxing effect, and is known as a reliable color. Next slide. Purple is often recognized as a spiritual color. It enlightens and is often associated with royalty and luxury. Pink, well, often hand in hand with purple and blue, is very different from these colors' symbolic meanings, and it's full of sympathy and makes us feel accepted. And of course, it is widely known as a feminine color. Next slide. Next, black is the color of power and sophistication, and it makes us feel safe and elegant. Lastly, white is the color of purity and innocence, and is also known as a perfect and clean color. Maybe the reason that all grads wear white is because it shows our innocence and how we are just starting our lives. Color can affect us more than we think. People have been able to harness that power of color to persuade the consumer. This power is used heavily in marketing and business interactions. Next slide. Color has such a big impact on us, especially as consumers. Michelle Lewis writes about how big of a toll color really takes on us in her article titled The Power of Color Psychology in Branding, Marketing, and Advertising, published April 2025. 92% of people have importance on visual factors when purchasing products, and there's an 80% increase in brand recognition that can be attributed to color. Not only does the color of the product the brand is selling matter to the customer, but the color the brand markets themselves by changes how we perceive them or remember them. Persuasion Nation, author of Color Psychology and Marketing, How Colors Affect Consumer Behavior, published December 2025, writes about how certain colors subconsciously affect people. Next slide. A neutral color, like white, suggests that the brand is well-balanced, clean, and serene. The use of white is often found in things like cleaning products and cosmetics. Yellow reveals optimism and high energy levels, and it tends to grab people's attention. Some examples of brands that use yellow are IKEA and Shop. Next slide. Orange, similar to yellow, shows excitement, and it's used as a call to action. Red creates a sense of urgency and increases your appetite, and it's used by food brands like McDonald's or Coca-Cola. Next slide. Green is commonly used by environmentally friendly brands because it's a common symbol of nature. Blue creates security and trust, and it's usually used by brands like Ford or Facebook. Next slide. Purple is a symbol for exclusiveness, and it's used by premium brands like Rolex and Crown Royal. Lastly, black, kind of like purple, displays luxury. It is commonly paired with other colors. Some examples of brands with black are Nike and Adidas. However, you can't just throw colors together and hope for the best. In an article by the Impact Council called How Smart Brands Use Color to Boost Their Bottom Line, published October 31st, 2025, the right hues build trust, drive sales, and make brands unforgettable, while the wrong ones can cost you customers and your credibility. It takes careful marketing to use color in a positive way. Not only does color affect us in what we buy or do, but it can change how we feel or act in our everyday environments. Color has the power to cause tradition as well as influence. If color is powerful enough to change how we feel, could it aid us in our everyday environments? Color can change how we feel or act in everyday environments like school, work, and home. Next slide. Psychology Town writes in their article titled The Psychological Effects of Color in Educational Environments, published November 2025, that something called environmental psychology shows how the colors surrounding students in educational settings directly shape their mood, perception, and cognitive engagement. Warm colors lead to alertness, but it can also lead to anxiety. Meanwhile, cool colors calm students down and allow for better focus. Not only does color and environment affect students, but color-coded information can help students retain better. Next slide. After graduating and heading into the workforce, many workers are faced with office jobs that have the same negative effects as school. Carl Carty's article, Color Psychology, Why Colors in the Workplace Matter, published April 2025, shares how a workplace's success, just like school, is dependent on color. Careful consideration of color in a work environment can lead to employees feeling energized, focused, or relaxed, depending on your intended purpose. The use of green allows for balance when in rooms for long focus periods, and something like blue allows for more focus and productivity. It is extremely easy to use color in your favor, no matter what your goal is. Next slide. Not only can you use color for an intended purpose in everyday environments like school or work, but you can also use it in your home. Felicia Feaster shares her thoughts in an article, How to Use Color Psychology in Your Home, published 2025. Color is an important component of interior design and can be used to make your home inviting, relaxing, or refreshing, depending on accessories and your colors used. Next slide. In review, I've talked about how different colors can influence us. Then, I discussed the connection between those colors and how businesses use it in their marketing. Lastly, I shared how color can affect us in everyday environments, like home and school. Color is a very powerful tool. It's important to know what it means and how we can use it to our advantage. While something like wearing white as a senior seems like just a tradition or a symbol, the use of color in this way is just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more to color than meets the eye. Thank you.